Hey, welcome to the Billy Husfsey Podcast. I'm very excited today. Got a really good friend. We actually work together, and we'll talk about that. But this is Shawn Ray, a professional bodybuilder. Show me that bicep.
Well, I'm retired. You got to put that in quotes. It's been a while since I was a professional bodybuilder, but yes, a
Oh,
long
no.
time ago I was. Yeah.
I see them shoulders right there. You still got it, brother. That's
Yeah.
funny. I remember you telling me that one time. Yeah, I'm out of shape, and I'm looking at this guy with bowling ball shoulders.
Yeah.
So I
I had a
humbly said,
good
"Oh, yeah,
run.
that's good." Yeah.
I had a good run, Bill. I mean, a lot of people, the further away I get from the stage, the more nostalgic I become. But I also realize that there's kids that they missed it, right? So I'm 60 years old now. I turned 60 last month, and it's really crazy to verbalize that because when I was 20, we thought 60 was like a death sentence for most people. Um, but I'm very nostalgic about it because you're right. I still think in my mind that I am a professional bodybuilder. I don't behave like one. I don't go to the gym twice a day. I don't eat 6 meals a day. But once you become that, you're that for the rest of your life. Bodybuilding is the only thing that I know, and really the only job I've ever had. So you don't stop being a bodybuilder because you stop competing.
Yes.
Um, if I were a basketball player or a football player, yeah, there's a shelf life. It's over. When it's over, you don't get to keep playing. Bodybuilding is one of those things, like Arnold Schwarzenegger said, that you do for life. It's like breathing air, it's like eating
Mhm.
food. It's a lifestyle. And the only thing that disappeared out of my economy is competing for prize money and having to be concerned with the way I look. The transition in bodybuilding from the stage to off stage is the mindset of not being obsessive compulsive on how you look, but
Mhm.
transitioning to how you feel. Because the older you get,
Yes.
there's two things: either you feel good or you feel bad,
Yeah.
and you don't want to feel bad. So the only way that I can keep feeling good in the therapy that I've developed over these 40 years, 4 decades, is the continuous emotion, the
Mhm.
continuous ability to be aware of my nutrition, to be aware of my mobility, my flexibility, and to not stop doing the things that makes me who I am, and getting out of bed and working out and choosing my foods accordingly. That's a bodybuilding. That's a lifestyle. And that's why, you can look at somebody like Arnold, who paved the way, that this guy doesn't have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and ride his bike and go to the gym. But when you do that, you keep the wheels on the bus, you keep the machine going. When you stop doing that, you start looking at your colleagues and people that are in your age group, and you
Mhm.
see how difficult it is for them because they stopped.
Yeah.
I simply refuse to stop.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, I don't think you'll ever stop. The thing that you have though is you have the knowledge of what you need to do at the age that you're at. I see a lot of older fellas go to the gym and they're trying to bench 400 pounds and they're
Yeah,
70.
it's dangerous.
It is
It's
dangerous.
dangerous because here again, at the advanced age of 50 plus, let's say,
Mhm.
you are trying to challenge yourself the way that you would have done when you were younger. And when you're younger, not only are you naive and you think you can move mountains, if you get injured, you recover faster.
Yeah.
As I've gotten older, I've become wiser and smarter. And I remember there was a saying: instead of running, why not walk? Instead of standing, why not sit? You start to conserve your energy the older you get in areas that, as a kid, you don't even think about. Because as a kid, you run everywhere, right? You ran to school, you ran to the grocery store, you ran after the ice cream man. At my age, I don't run anywhere, right? I'm taking my time. I'm going to get there safely. And I consider in my mind that running can, if you don't prepare yourself, you can get injured, right? I got to stretch before I run. So I'm
Yes.
a little bit more calculated. And I think because of that, it does help with the longevity of not being injured, and being mindful that, there's a time and a season for certain challenges. And I've challenged myself the majority of my adult life, and now I just want to maintain, right? I don't want to lose what I have, and I think that that's more important to me than trying to add stuff. I don't
Yeah.
need more size, I don't need more strength. I've been there and done that.
Right. Well, that's a good lesson for everybody because I think a lot of people do struggle with that. I got to do more weight, or I got to, and they can really hurt themselves. Let's get back to where we kind of started. Your childhood. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, where are you from? Where were you born? And then how did you lead to this great place that you're at
Yeah.
today?
Well, I mean, I'm the youngest of 8. I was born and raised in Orange County, a small city called Placentia. I think the one of a couple of athletes that have come out of there and put us on the map would have been the Olympic swimmer, Janet Evans. Her father was a veterinarian for our pets. I went to school with her older brothers. She's younger than me, but Janet Evans went on to win a bunch of Olympic medals. And if you remember, famously, I think it was in '96 at the Olympic Games in Atlanta, she actually was holding the torch and handed it off to Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad, yeah.
So that for me was a proud moment because she was one of our own, right? I mean, she wasn't my friend, but I knew her dad and her brothers I went to school with. But nonetheless, Placentia has a few athletes that have come out of it. Aaron and Brett Boone played in the major leagues, and I think Aaron Boone is still the coach of the New York Yankees. We had a few other Olympic athletes. Michael McKinnon, I went to school with him. He was a silver medalist in the swimming. But nonetheless, I helped put Placentia on the map as well because I was trying to be a football player. I wanted to be the best football player that the world has ever seen as an 8-year-old kid coming up the ranks. And then I got injured in my high school year in a playoff game. A kid hit me in the knee during practice on our way to the playoffs, put me on crutches. I went into rehab. And by the time I came out, 6 months later, I was on a bodybuilding stage winning the California Gold Cup. And I knew then that I'd found my new passion. I went on to go to the Teenage National Championships in '84, and I got second place. I was 18 years old, so I knew I had another year of eligibility. And in the interim, I'd win the Teenage California along with the Team Nationals in 1995. That sent me to Australia for the Junior Universe in December when I was 20 years old, and I won that as well. That gave me the confidence that, look, I'm Teenage California, Teenage National Champion, Junior Mr. Universe. I'm on to something here. And when I won the Junior Universe, Joe Weider put me on the cover of Flex magazine. So there I was, 20 years old, in college, on the cover of Flex magazine, a lifelong dream of mine, by the founder of bodybuilding, Joe Weider. And then a year later, I would go on to win the national championships and the California championships as an adult and become a professional bodybuilder, getting checks, traveling the world, making appearances on the cover of Muscle and Fitness, Iron Man, Muscle Mag International, Muscular Development. I was all over the place in the magazines, and that launched my professional career at 22 years old. I knew what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, which was be the best bodybuilder I could be, hopefully one day be the best in the world. And that would take me on a 13-year professional journey in the top 5 for 12 consecutive years, right into the Bodybuilding Hall of Fame. I've been retired now 24 years. 3 daughters. I've got 3 grandkids. I'm 60 years old. I have my own show in Hawaii. I'm a representative of numerous companies. One is called Mutant. It's a supplement company.
Let's see it.
Yeah, this was out of Canada. I represent the supplement line. This is one of our products called All In. I'm a spokesperson for Dialed Moods energy drinks. We have powders and we have shots. It's an energy drink company based right here in Newport Beach. And also the Shawn Ray Hawaiian Classic, which is coming up November 8th. This will be my 8th year promoting this show on the island of Oahu, where we have pro bikini, pro physique, and amateur bodybuilding. These guys have an opportunity to go to the Mr. Olympia, compete for prize money, and also the nationals where I come from. So I'm doing a lot of things. I just got back from Turkey and Paris. I'm still traveling the world as an ambassador and a voice for professional bodybuilding. And we got the Mr. Olympia coming up next week in Las Vegas. This will be my 38th consecutive year in attendance in some capacity working for the Olympia platform.
It was funny because I remember last year I was going to meet you there.
Yeah, I remember.
It went like this. Wait, you're already here again?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. You're a brand ambassador. That's huge. I love that. What is your duties?
So I just got back from Turkey, and I was with the gym equipment company called Podast Equipment. They're out of Italy. I'm one of numerous ambassadors. They have Lee Haney, they have Bob Ciccarillo, they have Phil Heath. These are some established bodybuilders that made a name for themselves. And Mr. Panada has chosen the best of the best to create and build new gym equipment lines around our persona, so that we're endorsing the product because obviously it's some of the best gym equipment in the world. And he's coming into the U.S. market. But in the meantime, he'll bring us universally around the world to Dubai. And like I just came back from Turkey and Germany to help market and promote to the newer guys coming into the sport, educate them on proper technique and usage of the machinery. And the machines that they have now were not the machines that they had when I was coming up. So I'm glad as a spokesperson, as an ambassador, I know I've trained on every gym equipment line in the world. I was actually sponsored by this company, Flex, back in the 90s when I was an actual bodybuilder competing. They have a clothing line now. But knowing how the mechanics of these machinery work, they give us a platform to speak to the people that are actually coming up behind us. But the biggest demographic is not the kids coming up behind us. I'm living the demographic, the 50-plus-year-old athletes trying to hang on, fighting father time, and not kind of really knowing how to do it without getting hurt. So they put us, the elder statesmen, out there to kind of give them the insight on how to maintain, how to train for longevity, how to train for wellness and health. Because some bodybuilders, they don't pump their brakes until something snaps, until they're injured. And there's the knee injuries, the hip injuries, the back injuries, the shoulder injuries, because they keep going a little bit too hard. And so by bringing these elder statesmen back, as like myself, we can also help remind the older people. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And you're not being judged on how you look. The most important thing is how you feel. And so putting us in front of the machines, having the front line of defense to telling people how to use the machines, that's where Mr. Panada has an advantage. And being ambassador, not just for that, but also supplements. I've got 40 years in the game. I've tried everything under the sun. So once you've been there, I think I've made myself a valuable asset to certain companies because I've tried everything, and I planted my flagpole with these companies that I represent.
Yes, you had that knowledge. Now you have the wisdom, the application of the knowledge. You know what's really important, because a lot of young cats are going to be watching this. What's the difference, and what should we do when we're younger and we're training? I'm not younger either, but when you're 18 years old, 17, and you're trying to go, and then kind of step into, as you're older, what you have to do to maintain.
Well, again,
as a younger person. Do they work out 4 days a week? That's what I'm getting at.
Well, I think right now they're training less. I trained 6 days a week. I was there Monday through Saturday. That was my therapy. Like I wanted to be the best in the world. So there's different mindsets, right? I liken this to basketball. We can pick up a basketball at 8 years old, not knowing what the finish line looks like. But if we do it for 10 years and we're 18, we might have so much practice under our belt that we're able to get a scholarship. We might be able to then turn that scholarship into a professional contract at 21, 22. And then we might be able to compete with the best in the world and maybe ultimately become the best in the world. Why? Because we started at 8 years old, learning the mechanics of dribbling, of free shots, of passing, of defense. And you're doing it day in and you're doing it day out. If you're a basketball player, are you thinking in your mind, tomorrow I'm going to take the day off. I'm going to train. I'm going to do basketball Monday, Thursday, and Sunday because I want to do something else. No, when you're a kid and you pick up a basketball, you want to play every day. You can't wait to play every day. You can't wait to meet the kids on the playground and be the best you can be. And as you get older and as you get better, the level of competition rises, and so does your commitment to practice. All you have to do is look at Kobe Bryant. All you have to do is look at Michael Jordan. The very best of the best didn't take days off. They arrived early and left late. In bodybuilding. If that is your goal, which was always my goal, once I got hurt and I caught on the bodybuilding stage and I saw the potential that I had, I heard the positive affirmation, I wanted it all. So I didn't have in my mind, how do I make it easier for me? How many days can I take off? What was I going to do on a day off? I despised the days off. I knew that I needed to rest. I knew that I needed to recover. But when I wasn't in the gym, I was lost. Like like a kid with a basketball. You want to be on the court. A football player, you want to be on the field. I never made excuses for why I didn't want to go to the gym unless I was sick. I never made excuses for why I'm sore or it's too far. I was enthusiastic about the journey. And that journey included training with different people, going to different gyms, wearing different workout gear, training on different machines, eating different foods, learning it, because I was learning all the time, but I was so hungry, so thirsty that ultimately, instead of just wanting to be good, I wanted to be great. And the closer I got to that goal, the more focused I became on blocking out all the other things. And I was strictly a robotic bodybuilder, reading every page in the magazine, eating every morsel of food on my plate, getting as many naps and rests as I could so I could grow. So it does become sort of obsessive compulsive. But
Hmm.
do you know an athlete, an actor who's really good at their craft that doesn't sell out?
Hmm.
They're all in. If you want to be the best, there's some things that you have to sacrifice. And
Yes.
those sacrifices for me led me to this end where I become an ambassador, a spokesman. I'm traveling all over the world. I'm getting paid for my knowledge, not my physique. And I'm still able to be very physically fit because I know the importance of flexibility, wellness, health, nutrition. You take all of that with you.
Yes. So it's real important. Kind of just put this in a box. So the younger kids should work out how many times a week? What do you think?
Yeah.
And explain also the importance of nutrition. People
Well,
don't.
again, everyone is different. This
Okay.
is not a cookie cutter sport where if you do what I do, we're going to look the same. We're going to have the same results. It
Right.
doesn't work like that. I mean, I'm a guy, I love red meat. You're a guy that may only eat chicken and fish.
Uh-huh.
We may wind up at the same destination, but we're going to have different philosophical paths that we're going to take.
Okay.
I'm a smaller guy. I'm 5'7". You reminded me that I'm smaller. I'm 5'7". I competed at 200 and something pounds. What I do when I get in the machine is going to be different than what you do because you're going to have to make the seat adjustment. You're going to have to do different angles, different range of motion. It is a very artistic, individual journey for all of us
Yes.
because I can't just copy you and think that I'm going to be like you. That's not how this works. Um, you through trial and error, you find out whether or not you need to lift heavier or if you need to lift lighter. If you need to eat more calories, carbohydrates, more protein, or not. Everyone's different, but it's all trial and error. It's very much
Mhm.
like an art show. It's
Mhm.
also very much like music. Music to your ears is noise to my ears. That can be true for anything, right? You
Yes.
know, I like vanilla and you like chocolate.
Hmm.
Um, I like rap and you like country.
Hmm.
This is a very much an art show, bodybuilding. It's all about interpretation. You could be the best that you can be. It may not make the top 10.
Yes.
I could do I could run circles around you in the gym and I still don't get the gains that you're getting because your genetics are better than mine. So this is not something where you want to measure yourself up against the competition. This is something that you really are in competition with yourself.
Yes.
And to get to learn how to build your body, it is all trial and error. I tried all the other guys before me. I tried
Hmm.
the workout partner routines. I never had the right formula that I could write down and say, here, Billy, try this, and you're
Hmm.
going to look like that. It
Yeah.
doesn't work that way. It's all trial and error. And then you get on stage and you let the judges decide. Some will have success, others won't. But there's a lot of ways to pivot. So you're not a great bodybuilder, but you train and you have the heart of a lion. Maybe you take that information and you become a trainer. Maybe you become a gym owner. Maybe you become a nutritionist. Maybe you become a coach. There's a lot of other avenues that you can pivot because on that stage, man, I mean, only thing that separates you from the judges is a tiny little posing trunks, tiny little briefs that are
Hmm.
maybe 10 inches, right? That fit
Hmm.
around your waist, and everything else, you're being judged from head to toe. Some will have better success than others. I was blessed with the right genetics, but I also had the mindset of a champion as a teenager.
Yeah. This is important, and then I'm going to get to something you told me um, a long time ago when we worked together. The genetic sometimes I could not wrap my head around it because we were talking about guys that were 6'3", 6'4", and a
Right.
guy that's smaller, but he's got a better physique. But your eye goes to the bigger guy. That's tough. I got to give you a lot of love and respect. Seriously, because when
Yeah.
you explained all that, and then you said when you go to certain shows, you could before the competition, you're like, okay, he's going to be winner and he'll be first. It's amazing. And one other thing, people don't understand. Like, I remember when I was a kid. Well, he's like a bodybuilder. They don't know. Winners do what losers won't, and that's sacrifice. You sacrifice hours getting the sleep, eating the right foods. Once you dial into what you said, everybody is different, and I feel that myself. But um, I want to get it because I know older people. How should they work out so they don't hurt themselves? You mentioned one thing. I'm going to edge you on this. Is the stretching. I
Yes.
never see people stretch at the gym. The older
Yeah.
fellas.
Well, because people get in the gym, and we're in a digital age, right? So it's hard to put their headphones down and put their cell phones down. I never had that problem when I was coming up because I could see my competition in the magazines every morning while I'm eating breakfast. So the last thing I'm going to do is drive 20, 30 minutes to a gym and spend my time on the phone or trying to figure out what music I want to listen to. I knew what my finish line looked like as a competitive athlete. But as I've gotten older and moved away from competition, I was
Mhm.
also acutely aware of the injuries that happen when you are distracted, of the injuries that happen when you're trying to go challenge yourself for personal best. Yeah. What is the personal best at the end of the day? If you're going to go in there and try to bench as most weight as you can, it is a risk. You know, coming up in the game, I liked fast cars and I had plenty of them. I know you
Yeah.
did too. I had the Porsche, had the Ferrari, had the Diablo, had all just pushing the envelope of the what can a car actually do. But I never challenged the car's speed because I knew that speed kills. I liked the way that the speed sound, the exhaust. I liked the way the car rode when I went a little bit fast, but I never went to the edge, and I could have very easily. There are athletes in our sport that like to live on the edge, and it's very dangerous because one of the
Mm.
greatest bodybuilders in history, Ronnie Coleman, has suffered numerous
Yeah.
surgeries as a result of his powerlifting career, not knowing when to stop, not knowing when to back off. You have, knees, hips, back, spine. You can literally put yourself in a wheelchair if you don't pump your brakes. Muhammad Ali probably fought a little bit longer than he should have,
Right.
and he didn't know when to walk away when he probably should have. One guy that I admire a lot is Barry Sanders. He walked away at the top of his career. Jim Brown, a famous
Yes.
football player out of Cleveland, walked away at the top. It's hard to walk away when you're making money, when you're
Yeah.
having success, and when you're the very best. I give Kobe Bryant props because even when he was at the end of his career, he tore his Achilles
Hmm.
at the end of his career. He didn't have to keep playing. Some people say, "Don't you have enough money? I mean, go retire." Some people, they're born to do this. For me, I was acutely aware that if I stayed too long, injury is the only thing that could take me out. And I wanted to walk away like these other champions walked away. So at 35, I walked away and I hung up the posing trunks. I pumped my brakes and said, "I'm not going to challenge my strength. I'm not going to challenge my physique. Instead, I'm going to make sure I can bend over and touch my toes. I can
Hmm.
stand up and sit down. I can walk through airports." And so, for that very reason, I had to pivot from the strength to the flexibility. So, I always warm up light. I always stretch before and after I work out because
Mm.
when you no longer can move freely, it's too late for you to start considering stretching, right? Stretching is something that I never stopped doing. So it's easy for me to stand up and sit down and to walk through these airports and to maneuver around the world
Good.
because I've lightened the load and I've taken the emphasis off of the stress to just maintenance. I want to make sure I'm mobile, right? I got guys in bodybuilding have shoulder surgery. They can't shave their head.
Hmm.
You don't have that problem. But can you imagine if you couldn't just run a comb through your head?
Yeah.
These are things that tear a pec, tear a bicep, tear a quadricep. It's bodybuilding is as dangerous as race car driving. An injury is just around the corner waiting. So my advice to the young kids is, yeah, when you're younger and you're stronger and you're more flexible and pliable, that's the time to challenge yourself, but don't make it dangerous. For me, bodybuilding was never dangerous. I was a sculptor, I was an artist, I wasn't a power lifter. I made sure no one's asking me how strong I am, so I'm not going to try to figure out how strong I am. That's the
Mhm.
dangerous zone. And then I also made sure I did other things. I rode my bike, I swam, and I got regular massages. So taking care of the machine holistically will serve you very well later on in life. And that's not going to stop.
Mhm.
Um, that's not going to stop just because I'm no longer on stage or because I'm not taking my shirt off in public. I just think it's good, healthy living because I got grandkids, right? And I got friends that have kids, and I'm watching people grow up in this industry, and
Yeah.
I like the way I feel because I'm not sore all the time, right?
Mhm.
I'm not eating as much. I'm good with 2, maybe 3 meals a day. I
Mhm.
drink a lot of water. I try to make sure that I incorporate the 4 food groups and vegetables and fruit and carbohydrates and protein,
Awesome.
but I don't obsess over it. And that happens as you get further from the competition. You realize you don't need the quantity. But as a young kid, you need those calories. You need those big meals. You need those naps. You need those rest periods, and you need the ambition to challenge yourself strength wise.
Yes.
It's on the backside of 40, on the backside of 50 that you have to start paying attention to the signs. You know
Yeah.
that Father Time is undefeated, and the last thing you want to do is get injured.
Yeah, I love what you said because this is what a lot of people don't understand and give enough respect to bodybuilders. It's just like an actor. You want to be an actor, that's fine. You want to be great, you're not an actor, you're an artist.
Right.
You
It's
want
a
to be a
mindset.
bodybuilder, fine, but you want to be great, you become an artist.
Yeah, it's a
I
mindset.
love that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So when you're again, the analogy about Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, you and I can pick up a basketball at,
Right.
I don't know, at our age. We can pick up a basketball right now. Are, are we basketball players? I mean, we're shooting the ball at the hoop, but we're not basketball players. You know why? Because all you have to do is listen to Kobe or Michael Jordan. They eat, slept, and breathed basketball.
Yes.
I imagine they probably slept with their basketball.
Mhm.
And how many free throws a day do you think they shot?
Oh yeah.
Right? How many hours a day or a week do you think they actually played and practiced against the best? They were practicing against all stars. They were practicing against other
Mhm.
professionals. So they're
Mhm.
not playing basketball. That's a business for them. Their mindset when they get to the practice is that they have to practice the way they play. Someone's trying to take your job. So
Mhm.
their practice had to always be elevated. They had to elevate their status for years, and in Kobe Bryant's case, for decades. That's why and how you become the best. As a bodybuilder, we can both go to the gym and lift weights.
Mhm.
But if you're lifting weights to build up your chest and your arms, and I'm in there thinking, I want to be the best in the world, our mentalities they're not
Yes.
on sync. So after we leave the gym, you lifted to build up your chest. I'm going home to feed the machine. I'm going to lay down. I'm going to grow. Every meal is taking me to that next level of readiness,
Yes.
the next workout. So it doesn't stop in the gym. It starts there, but the work takes place when you're not in the gym mentally. When you play basketball, again, you're playing because you got a basketball. You're not playing
Mhm.
for the NBA finals. You're not trying to be the MVP. You're not trying to break records and elevate. You just want to play basketball. The mindset on a regular guy and the mindset on someone who wants to be great, that's going to dictate your journey. And for
Mhm.
me, as a teenager, teenage national champion, junior universe, I knew then I wanted to be great. And it took me places that were unimaginable as a teenager. That it started with a dream, but I put in the work. And if you put in the work, the door can be open. It's not open for everyone,
Mhm.
but like Hollywood, the actor that says from Cleveland, I want to be on TV, and then from Cleveland to Hollywood and New York, the journey
It's
it's a
huge.
1,000 miles, but it begins with one step, and it's possible. But
Yes.
all the things that you have to do in between to get there, most
Mhm.
people fall away.
Oh, I say 99%. Yeah, that's for sure.
It's not for
You know,
everyone.
that's amazing. I think this is a great, great, great platform. You gave us so much great information, and I know younger guys and older guys that are working, and I think you covered everything. I want to cover one other thing because you said something, and I laughed a couple days ago. For you people out there, Shawn and I did a reality show together, and reality is a violent business. It's
It
a
can
tough
be.
business. But you said the best thing. It was amazing. You said, Billy, and you said it so calm. I was like,
Uh,
he's right. Reality is not for everybody. Reality
no,
shows.
no, it's not.
They
Um,
mess. The producers mess with your head. They're saying things, and you're thinking, "What did he? What?" It's really crazy, huh?
well, it's one thing being a trained actor because you can see the lines coming. You can see
Mhm.
how this is supposed to feel and look, and you can interpret your mannerisms. You can take on a different persona. But when
Mhm.
you're being you, and there's little tidbits of what they want you to do,
Uh-huh.
the idea of reality TV is that it's partly scripted, but it is reality because you're not trained in the art of interpretation.
Sure.
So reality TV has its success rooted in the naivety of not perceiving what people are looking at.
Correct. Yeah.
So my reaction to something being said to me or given to me or fed to me is
Yeah.
in real time. I don't get a do-over. There is there's no retakes, there's no cuts, there's no breaks. It is reality in concept. and that's why I think reality TV has a very strong hold on Hollywood, because anyone can do it. Anyone can do it, but not everybody should. Because again, a trained actor can choose the lines. A trained actor can choose the roles. A trained actor can deny a scene, and you have the ability of discernment of what this appearance might, on a global scale, look like for you, the artist. Reality, you're being paid as an independent contractor to act out a scene that you're supposed to interpret yourself, and it doesn't come with experience, which is why some people thrive in that environment, and others fold in it. You were very good, by the way, and you had some experience before we met.
Yes, sir. But I remember they said they wanted me to go after the choreographer, but I'm an actor, so he was really nervous. And then the producer says, "Billy, you're really not going to hit him, are you?" I go, "No, I'm not going to hit him." Right. But that you explained it so good. If it's a trained actor, because we see stuff coming, and then we'll decipher where we want to go. That's 100%. Why they don't like real actors on reality shows, because they're savvy to everything that's happening. I am so happy that you stopped by, man, and we're going to put this out because you got so much wonderful information. And that show was called Raising Asia. He's got two beautiful daughters, beautiful wife, and Asia and I worked together. She's a woman now. People sometimes ask me,
20 years. She's 20. Yeah. Turned 20 in August, and she's working on her music. That's what she's into. She's doing it.
She's beautiful and talented, and a great dancer, man. I used to like to dance when I had acting class.
Yeah, that's how it started. That's where it started at, and her sister is now a senior in high school. So yeah, that show opened up a lot of different avenues. It also there were some very good parts about the show that I liked, because it does show you that, like, my daughter was trying to be a dancer singer, and it did show a side that it takes a village. Raising Asia was the title, and everyone from my sister-in-law to my mother-in-law to my wife to everyone has a different perspective of what that journey is supposed to look like. And the dynamic between you and the dance choreography was good too, because the dance choreographer had an idea of what she should look like. You had an idea of what she should sound like. There's so many moving parts, and I think for its time, we were right in the middle of the rise of all of that reality TV. It was a very good experience for, I think, everyone involved.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun. But I could see why people, how you explained it. Somebody that really doesn't do this they're present in that moment. What did you just say?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's a show, dude.
It could lead to fireworks. I think you and I did a good job of understanding the down and distance, because that was a good dynamic, and I think when the scenes were over, we understood it's a TV show, and there's people in reality TV that actually fight on camera.
Yeah.
And it is about conflict and resolution, but when you have inexperienced people, the conflict is what sells. And the producers want more conflict than they want resolution. And I appreciated that entire experience, because I was still looking at you from what was the show that you did back with Stoney Jackson back in the day? Fame? Fame, yeah. So being thrown in with you, I was still looking at the Fame guy, right? Like it was taking me way back in the day. And for me, that was way out of my element, because I'd never done anything like that. My daughter had some previous experience with it on Dance Moms. You had plenty of experience, but you were very good at what you were doing. That was
and I had a good time with that. But I love what you said, because when it's done, it's done. I didn't really mean that. I'm an advocate of not bullying or violence. I don't like any of that stuff. But when I was acting, the producer, I think his name was Ryan. You wouldn't really hit him, would you? I should.
Yeah, they had no clue. You were good. You were so good.
I've called it show. Listen, so happy that you're on. We're going to get this out, because you have given us such great wisdom, and I appreciate you so much. And maybe we'll see you in Vegas. I was trying to get there last year.
Well,
and
like I was trying
to about your Hawaiian.
That's coming up on November the 8th. Again, this is a professional and an amateur show. I've been doing it now for 8 years in Hawaii. This will take place at the Hilton Hawaiian Village. You can get more information at srhawaiianclassic.com. We get about 300 athletes coming through there, and to see them where they start on the amateur side, and then to have the exposure of bringing professionals to the island, that's where my happy place is, because I've been promoting shows since 2005 in my retirement, and I'm a part of these guys' journey, so that
Awesome.
a lot of them, I run into these people down years after my competitions, and I'll be at the Olympia watching the world's best. Some of them have come through my show in Hawaii, so it feels really good to kind of see them graduate through something that I'm able to put my time and my energy in, and being in doing all facets, right? Competing, promoting, emceeing, interviewing, being bringing these sponsored products to the athletes. And who doesn't want to be in paradise, right? I mean, there's no other place for me to promote a show than Hawaii, and I've done several of them. So I'm looking forward to this coming up. It'll be coming up in 4 weeks.
I'm sure it's going to be great. Thank you so much. This is Shawn Ray, a world-class athlete and a world-class bodyguard and a world-class friend. And that's the most important. Love you, my brother. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Peace out.